And good morning to all of you, and welcome to Mexico. This is another opportunity, Joe. The G20, which is evolving in terms of process and procedure and all of that, has a very, very big agenda. And what we need to really do is focus that agenda to make sure that we're focusing on the most important things, which are those things that are going to bring us economic growth, and then obviously the job creation and prosperity and standards of living that you were just all talking about. But the other aspect here is we have over 300 CEOs here, that are representing the B20, which is putting forward to the G20 a very strong agenda of what needs to get done in order to create that growth. So we've got the short term and the long term. The short term, obviously, is last week we started talking about remedies for the Spanish banks. We talked about over the weekend the Greek vote. That's short term. Those are Band-Aids. Those are getting out of trouble. We've got to get back onto a longer-term agenda of those things that are going to create growth. And one of the things that we got to get really serious about is how do we enhance the capital markets? The funding that is going to be needed and required here. The OECD said $70 trillion, in infrastructure financing over the next 18 years. We've talked about $46 trillion in the next 5 years in terms of non-financial corporate securities. That's refinancings and new monies that's going to have to be raised. Where's that money coming from? It's not going to be coming from banks. That is going to be coming from the capital markets, most importantly, the fixed income markets. And so we've got to get after making sure that we are doing everything we can to enhance that. Yeah. Trade and investment is another major agenda, and protection of intellectual property to get the service sector.
That's the third one, yeah.
We're in the middle of a process, and the difficult part of the process is that everybody has acted individually on their own. So, as you say, in the United States, you have Dodd-Frank, and you've got Basel III, and you've got all sorts of components, whether it's Canada, Japan, Australia, and so you've got this unevenness on the regulatory standpoint, and we've got to get to a harmonization of all of that. And, who does that? Where does that come from? And so we need to look to the G20 and hope that we get the signals that we need to say we need to begin a process where we can start to bring some coherence to all the different regulatory. I can be compliant in this market over here, and I can be out of compliance in this market over here. The capital markets are global. The capital markets don't understand borders, and therefore the process needs to get a lot better at trying to bring some sort of level playing field to it.
Terry, it's Andrew Sorkin here. A question about
whether it's a security or whether it's a sovereign or what have you. And the most important part of any credit rating isn't the rating itself. It's all the analysis that goes into it. And so you have all this criteria that, people are being judged by, and it's uniform across whether it's a sovereign, again, or any other kind of security. And all of that information is out there so that people can see how that rating was determined. Now, to an investor can say, well, I see their opinion. I see how they weighted that and this. I agree. I disagree. It gives them a basis. It gives them a base position from which to work. Right. So it's the analysis that's the most important part that goes into it.
Hey, Terry, back here at home.
Is like a mirror. It's just putting a mirror up and saying, hey, here's the information, here's the criteria we're looking at, here are all the issues, and let's, you can argue whether you like it or don't like it or whatever, but it is a mirror and it puts a position forward. And so whether it's ourselves with Standard & Poor's or Moody's or whatever, it's just a reflection of what is going on in a particular industry, a market, a company, a security, and that's a good thing. On that way. Now, unfortunately, you may not like the information that you're getting, but to an investor can't have all of this spin and all of those kind of. They've got to have real information, substantive information, and they can make a decision on what they want to do. But from a rating standpoint, you're putting out an opinion.
Okay, Terry, thanks for that.
All right, great. Terry, we appreciate your time this morning. Have fun down there. Be careful. Good place to meet.
I mean, we got to Well, we got to hope that, this is an opportunity, and as the G20 gets older and the process matures, we've got to make sure that business and government work together. And so both from the B20 and the G20, we've got to find ways to make the longer-term agenda work for us. Right now, the growth issues are hard.
I know. I just mean you didn't schedule it in Detroit, so have fun as long as you're down there. See you later.